Hi, my name's Jodi, and I am an addict. I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. We did have alcoholism in my family. In 7th grade, I was left home alone a lot. I was lonely and angry and very defiant, and I was a rebel. On my 12th birthday, my mom came home to me drunk in my own vomit, passed out on the floor. She freaked out, as probably most parents would, and put me inside of a dual diagnosis adolescent unit. My mom putting me in there was with best intentions, but at that age it still wasn't discussed when I got out. It was like, okay, she's fixed, she's cured. So I ended up finding these friends. At first I found the friends who had marijuana. Then I found the friends who had acid and mescaline. And then I did finally find heroin, and I was 14. By this time I was living in the suburbs right outside of Detroit. My mom was picking me up and throwing me in a mental hospital. A lot of the adolescent state mental hospitals were being shut down, so we were overcrowded and just put away. And so at a time when we didn't talk about addiction and mental health and how the two co-occur. So there was a lot of sexual abuse in the place that I was at. There was a lot of physical abuse and a lot of neglect. I did feel like I was the problem. I felt like that's where I belonged, in like the land of misfit toys. I saw myself as damaged. I saw myself as a victim. And if that's who I was going to be, I was going to figure out how I was going to have to survive in life with that. I also ran with a crowd that got me into dancing at a young age at a strip club. I was dazzled by the money and the gifts and being able to drink at, these high-end strip clubs. I felt powerful, and I felt that I could go anywhere, and that's exactly what I did. I packed up my stuff with a girlfriend at 18 years old and said, that's it, we're out of here, we're going. And all these beautiful places I've lived, and my memories are so few. And when things would just get so tough, I would come back home, and I would come back home and go to rehab. I had met a wonderful man. I met a guy, I met a boy. It wasn't the right time in our lives for each other. He had gotten into a program, a 12-step model abstinence program, and he wanted me to join him on that. As much as I loved him, and I saw safety in him, and I saw a future with him, I didn't want to give up certain things, so I moved to New Orleans. New Orleans was really difficult for me. New Orleans, you can walk around and you can drink alcohol, and everyone's in a party spirit at all times. I was shooting up DMT, I was shooting up heroin, and I don't remember these things, but I was. I don't remember staying in contact with Michael, the boyfriend that I've known from Michigan. And then he came one day, I opened my eyes, and there Michael was saying, I'm bringing you home. He was about 3 years into his recovery. He had clean. He found out where I lived down there, and he boarded a plane with the intentions of bringing me back to Michigan, and that's exactly what he did. I had my program pretty much tailor-made by Michael. Everything was laid out for me. He was really supportive and really helping me out. However, I was doing it all for him. I wasn't putting in any of the groundwork myself. I didn't have any self-love. We started putting back the pieces of the things that we had lost through our addiction, things that we gain when we're in recovery. The house, visitation with, he had a young son, getting licenses, cars, living a life, getting married. And we stopped doing the things that we needed to do. we stopped talking to our peer support group, our sponsors, going to meetings. We stopped remembering that we're addicts. Within a matter of a couple of months, we did end up going right back to heroin, right back to the needle. The addiction is such a beast. It is so powerful, and the obsession to use over it, you believe that you can manage it. We ended up losing everything this year. After 1 year of being on a run of using, we had lost a car, visitation with his kid, lost the cats. We lost everything except for the things on our back. We were staying in a motel with very little money left. I remember shooting up and looking at him and saying, is it going to get to the point that I'm going to end up having to sell myself? And he said, no, we're not going to get to that point. And I was scared, and so was he, that it might get to that point. So we decided to hole ourselves up inside our hotel room and take Suboxone to detox ourselves. We bought a whole bunch of it. And I started having a reaction to it, so I had to go away in an ambulance. I called my family, went to my grandfather's house the next day with everything that I had left. I was told to put it behind the garage. I couldn't even come in the house. My mother couldn't look at me. I had nowhere to go, and I had no money. And that's when I realized I had a problem. So I went to detox, and I went to treatment, and I still didn't know where my husband was. I didn't know if he was dead or alive. And I get something on social media that pops up, and it's from my husband. It's a message, and he asked me, where are you? Are you clean? And I said, yes, I'm in 3/4 housing. Are you clean? He said, yes. And we had decided that we were going to live in 3/4 houses separately. We were going to work this program, and we were planning on going out to dinner the next day to celebrate. And I was texting him and just asking him, hey, wake up. Good morning, handsome. There's no reply. Figured he was tired. He needed to sleep in. Sent him another text. No reply. And I'm frantically calling him, and there's no answer. And I saw who was calling me, and it was the person that he was living with, the house he was living in. And I just picked up the phone, and I couldn't say a word. And he said, Jodi, I'm so sorry. And I just screamed. How was I going to do this? How was I going to live my life without the one person that was the foundation of recovery for me? And that's when I realized there was no self-love. I had to figure out a way, somehow, to love myself. And today I'm taking a 90 days clean. I have a sponsor I work with. I have strong, strong women in recovery that I sought. I've opened up lines of communication with. I have the things that I need to do to become successful in being able to thrive in life. And now I want to give. I just don't want to live. I want to thrive.